Hello and welcome. Today we're going over another Leetcode Top 150 interview question, problem number 169, majority element. This is a pretty easy question and it has an easy difficulty, but there's a specific way that you can solve this, and that's requested of you in interview questions. So stick around to find out what the algorithm is, and without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so once we're into the problem here, we can see that given an array nums of size n, we're supposed to return the majority element. The majority element is the element that appears more than n divided by 2 times, and you may assume that the majority element always exists in this array. So there's an example here, and we have 3, 2, 3. The output is 3 because 3 appears twice. This is a pretty straightforward question. It makes sense logically. It's just a little bit more difficult to execute when it comes to the code. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first approach, which is actually going to be the easiest approach for solving this problem. All right, so the first approach here is going to actually be a sort algorithm. So what we would do is we'll see the number of elements in this list. So we'll say n equals to the length of nums. Now that we have the length of nums, we want to sort this list of nums. So we'll do nums.sort. Now that we have our nums array sorted, we can actually just return an element from that. So we'll do return nums, and then we'll do n//2. So this double slash in Python represents a floor division operator. It essentially means that instead of returning, if we have 5 elements divided by 2, we don't want it to be 2.5. We actually want it to be the second element. We don't have an index of 2.5, so doing this will actually give us always an index even whenever there's an odd number of elements. So let's go ahead and run this and make sure that our code works. And as we can see, this is accepted and we can submit this. We can see that this beats 87%, and this does run really well. It's very quick and it's not that difficult to write this code. However, this uses quasi-linear time because it uses the sort function. There is a better way to solve this, and that's using an algorithm that is sometimes tested on in interviews called the Boyer-Moore voting algorithm or the Boyer-Moore majority voting algorithm. Now, this is actually easily described if you use Boolean values 0 and 1, because if we look at an example with zeros and ones, we could see how looking through these elements, if you do a count plus 1 for every time you see the same element, and you do minus 1 for a different element, then you'll end up finding the majority element with whatever ends up having a positive count in the end. So the way that we can actually solve this is doing the same thing. We'll create a counter, and then we'll create an element that will give us the final answer, which is whatever element that counter relates to. So let's go ahead and get started coding on this example and see how we can solve this. The best way to start this, like I said before, is with a counter. So let's go ahead and get that written. And then we're also going to create something to give us our final answer in the end. We'll just call that answer to make it easy to remember what it actually relates to. Now we're going to want to go through every element in this nums array. So we'll say for num in nums, and then we're going to look to see if our counter is equal to 0. Why we look to see if our counter is equal to 0 is because if the counter is actually equal to 0, that means that we're wanting to define a new answer. If it's not equal to 0, then we'll want to either add 1 or subtract 1 from our count. Okay, so since the counter is equal to 0, we will say that the answer is now equal to this new num value. Okay, so now that our answer is equal to this number that we're checking first, we're going to want to run what happens when that number is equal to the answer. So let's go ahead and create that if statement as well. So we'll say if the number is actually equal to the answer, we'll want to increase our counter by 1. So let's go ahead and write that out by doing count plus equals 1. And if our counter does not, then we can just do our else. So we'll say otherwise count minus equals 1. So doing minus equals 1, we'll return the other option. So if we go through this the first time and we match, then our counter will increase by 1. And if it does not match, then it will decrease by 1. So let's look at this example with the Boolean values. So if we start with a 0, whenever we go through this, count is equal to 0. So we will add our answer is now equal to 0. So num is equal to answer, so we'll increase the counter by 1. Now we go through again, so counter is not equal to 1, and now we're looking at 0, which is the next element. So now if 0 is equal to the answer, which is 0, it does, we're going to add 1. So now we have a counter of 2. The next two elements will subtract 1, subtract 1. We get back to 0 being defined again, we add 1, and then 0 being defined again. So in the end, it'll work. We could do the same thing by changing this middle value with the 0. We would go 1, 2, subtract 1 back down to 1. Now we increase our counter by 1 to 2 again, increase the counter again to 3, subtract 1 down to 2, and increase the counter again to 3. We get the same answer. It's just going to work out every time, and this is even true with random elements besides just two numbers. But I wanted to show it as a Boolean because if you do a Boolean, you can say, well, this element I'm looking at compared to any other element, which is what you're doing in this anyways. So let's go ahead and run this and see if this will work. Okay, I should probably delete my example here first, actually, and then we can run this code. Okay, so as you can see, this did have a good runtime, but I forgot to remove the first part of this. I guess it just ran faster at this time, and I completely forgot that we didn't even return the answer that I was trying to solve for. So if we actually return an answer here, which will give us the element that I was actually looking for from this, then... And if I use the correct naming all the way throughout rather than changing my naming convention, then this should run and be accepted, and we should be able to run this in the fastest runtime. And it actually shows a slower time complexity than what I had before for some reason, but this will run in big O of n time, which is linear time, which is a lot faster than quasi-linear time. I mean, it depends on how large the elements are, but this is what we're looking for our final answer, and this is what would be expected from you if you're solving the Boyer-Moore's majority voting algorithm in an interview question. So that's all that I had for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that this was helpful for you. And if it was, I would really appreciate if you could just like the video, leave a comment down below. It really helps the algorithm. Just like how I taught you an algorithm, maybe we can beat the YouTube algorithm together. So I appreciate it. Leave any comments, any thoughts you have for future videos down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.